Hey guys, Lachy here. Today we're going to be talking about the new update for the microKORG 2, the successor to KORG's very famous microKORG. The microKORG was everyone's favorite entry-level synthesizer, and the microKORG 2 is kind of like its modern big brother. This new update basically brings a whole new features, so let's dive in. What made the microKORG 2 everyone's favorite first synth was how easy it was to use and the breadth of sounds that you could just pull and start to play with ease. Everyone knows the big knob, which gave you all these genres from which to choose all these presets from, and so this is still present on the new one. But the microKORG 2 introduces this great new big screen with very high quality graphic feedback and basically simplifies a lot of the workflow. So you'll notice that on the right here, there's a lot less writing and all these sections of the synth are laid out quite easily. So you can just go into them. So we got, voice, pitch, and a sign. You'll notice there's a timbre button. Timbre. I've been saying timbre the whole timbre because microKORG 2 is now by Timbre. We can actually play two sounds at once, which I'll get into later. 3 oscillators, which we can cycle through here. A mixer for the mixer and the filter. Our envelope generators. Modulation sources. A patch matrix for sending things to different places for a modulation matrix of sorts, 2 arpeggiators and global controls. And you can sort of see it's all really well laid out. You've got your programs, which are basically presets within that genre. And also it's got a whole vocal processor because it comes with this gooseneck mic, just like the original, so you can get tones like this. You'll also notice it's got the original vocoder as well as a hard tune for tuning your voice when you're singing into the mic and a harmonizer for auto harmonizing when you're singing. It gives you a modulation effect, delay and reverb as well as an EQ. So it's really an all-in-one powerhouse, and incredibly it's also battery powered too. So you don't even have to use the included power supply. And I think that's what is kind of the essence of the microKORG, is that it is the Swiss Army knife of synthesizers. microKORG 2 has always been a musician's best friend. The big update, Firmware 2.0, brings about a whole lot of really cool features that I thought was worth talking about. The big one for me is that it introduces logue SDK support to the microKORG 2, which, if you don't know, is basically KORG's custom platform for developing custom oscillators and effects. You can design an oscillator or browse a library full of community-built oscillators and effects, download them and port them onto your KORG instrument. It was very popular with the Logue series, like Mini-Logue and Pro-Logue, and now they've brought it to microKORG 2, which is amazing. There are basically 16 slots in each of the oscillator, modulation effect, delay, and reverb. So you go into oscillator 1, you cycle over through the wave type to user, and then you will basically have units. And the units are the individual custom units of that particular type that you're using. So in this case, oscillator. I've got one that KORG sent us, it's called waves. And then you can sort of see user, oscillator, waves. And then you've got all the parameters here on 3, 4, and 5 for the custom parameters of that wave. So let's actually go over to the user bank. So this is an initial program. So we're gonna go to oscillator 1 here. We're gonna go across to user. And now it's taken what is in unit 1 of our custom oscillators, which is this waves oscillator. So we can go to the scope here. And then we've got a whole bunch of different shapes. A sub as well. And so we're actually a whole bunch of different waves within this waves custom oscillator. So a lot to explore there. You can also build custom modulation effects. Once again, you just go to the modulation effect menu here, cycle through to user type, and then you can cycle through the units that you've loaded onto the microKORG 2 via a computer or your device. You can sort of see this like a morph EQ. Same with delay as well. Just click delay, rotate to user. I've loaded up this multi-tap custom logue effect. So let's actually dial that in. So I'm going to hold on and press like that to turn the delay on. And then also custom reverbs as well. So let's turn on the reverb. Let's go to the reverb and cycle to user. And I've got this reverse reverb, which is kind of cool. Pretty cool. The update has also introduced a low mode for Oscillator 3. So basically you can send the oscillator into LFO rates. And if you don't know what that means, basically you're slowing down the rate of the oscillator slow enough that it acts as a wave that can modulate other things with the rate of its movement. For instance, if we go to the patch page here, which is where we can set individual modulation sources and destinations, and we can basically go use the source and go all the way to the right here to Oscillator 3. And we can send Oscillator 3 to a destination, set the intensity and whether it's on or off, and off we go. So we can, modulate pitch or use the Oscillator 3 as a versatile low frequency oscillator. The looper also gets a lot of upgrades in this update. You can now import and export loops as well as step record, which is a big thing for a lot of people. What I love about the loop recorder is that it's so fun and easy to use. So if I just want to record something, all I have to do is press record here. It's going to count me in. And now we've got a loop going. Go to another program. What the hell? So you can sort of see the loop is really fun and easy to use and really great at just sort of sketching ideas down. If you haven't noticed already, it's body battery powered, which makes it such a powerful little guy. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to say much else about that. Last but not least, one of the big things about this update is that you can now split the keyboard, taking advantage of microKORG 2's multi-timbrality, which is a big thing. So previously on the microKORG, you could only play one sound. On the microKORG 2, you can actually play two sounds. There's some great sounds in the game effects section. Go to the mix page and we actually turn down. So this is Timbre 2 we're listening to. It's like this. We turn that down and turn up Timbre 1. So it's a bit of crunchy 8-bit drums with a little bit of some square waves. And so now we've turned them both up. And you can basically flip between the controls of the two like this. Some really great sounds in here. This is one of my favorites. What we're going to do is split the two timbres and pan them sideways. So we're going to go into the mix, pan Timbre 1 to the left, and pan Timbre 2 to the right. So now you should be hearing, if we've set this up right, you should be hearing this sort of ping pong effect. But I get carried away. I'm not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about splitting the keyboard. So just say I want to split this patch. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Timbre mix and see this purple control here. In the center, it is layered, so the two sounds play across the keyboard together when you press a key. But we're going to split it so that one sound plays in the lower half of this keyboard and another sound plays in the top half. So we're just going to go to the right. So it's like a patch. Right, let's turn that down and put back up Timbre 1. So it's like an arpeggiator. So So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split them using the purple knob here. So at the center point, it is a layer at 12 o'clock where all the keys play both sounds. But if we go to left or right, we can basically change in what region Timbre 1 and Timbre 2 timbre. I've been saying timbre the whole timbre. Turn up both timbres. So now I can play this pad. Which means I can kind of play like a pedal note. And there you go. So really easy to set up and create split points for being able to dynamically use the two timbres of the microKORG 2 on the sound that you're using. Now, we definitely haven't covered everything that they have put in this update because they've really jammed a lot in, but as you can see, they've really packed in a lot into what was already a really fun synth to begin with. So if you haven't checked out the microKORG 2 already, go have a look. I think this is a really great synth to start on if you're new to synthesizers, because with the visual feedback and the scope, it's really easy to get your head around what you're doing to the sound and how. But also, it's just great for a great starting point for just jotting ideas down in a looper, using the really fun vocoder and vocal processor, and just all the sounds that come packaged, which are so nice. And KORG's so good at designing their sounds. And as I've banged on it before, it's bloody battery powered. Get around it. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Huge thanks for KORG for sending us the update early to have a look at. It was really fun to dive into. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and let us know how you're using the microKORG 2 if you have one. If not, that's all cool. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.